Hey guys, Jessica Henry here. Welcome to my YouTube channel today. I am excited to have you with me. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am going to give you about a 15-minute sample of my most recent video pre-release that we are offering through Renaissance Creative Arts. I think it's just a really fun video and I really want you to see what it's all about. So I'm going to show you in this video today the beginning stages of this video journey that I'm going to take you on, as well as the intermediate parts, and then finishing up. The painting behind me here is as far as I've gotten in this video lesson, so I'll take you up to where I am. And remember, if you enjoyed this video, to like and subscribe, and I love your comments. Also, if you like how this video is going and you want to learn more, I'm going to provide a link for you down below where you can click on it and learn more information about this entire video that we're putting together. Very special offer that we have for a limited time, and then that is till April 26, 2019. So if you want the reduced price, you can click on that and order early. All right, I will see you guys on the other side. This three-part video series is made up of first developing your concept, then your materials and stretching the canvas, and finally working on the painting and bringing it to a finish. Okay, so in this segment, I am going to show you the process that I use in selecting a photo, how to try to find the story in the photo, and then how I go about taking those elements and putting them into a cohesive idea. In this video, I will show you not just what I'm going to do with this painting here today, but also how to do that with other photos that you might have, and to compose different sorts of paintings from different sources. Okay, so what I have in this image here, this is the photograph that I have printed out of my computer. We'll come up with just a value sketch. And so this is a thumbnail sketch that I will be using for the actual painting. So I'm gonna start to assess what size I want the painting in this stage. Just let this be the star of the show. I really don't need anything else in the image to do. Because this was a fairly complex photograph with the fingers and his face and this hand down here and the shoes and books, I wanted to do a more fully realized drawing. The face, those valleys, how very close that is. This hand is almost connected to this whole out, and play with some of these stronger white accents to see where the, my three main values are going to be: dark, medium, and then the light. At the heart of excellent art is an idea that becomes a story and sends the viewer into another state of mind, awakening a memory. I have always enjoyed art that made you think, that triggered a set of enjoyable responses. When someone mentions Norman Rockwell, we instantly think of nostalgia, sentiment, and comfort. Some art is so well done that we feel an escape from reality, and it touches specific chords in our heart. Before we pick up a brush or a pencil, it's the use of words and the visual landscape that they create in our inner being. Books tap into the deepest part of our capabilities to develop those images we need to capture the essence of a matter on canvas. Without the means of articulating an emotional response, we become artistically suspended. Holding on to and keeping fresh a feeling or response to beauty is where the thrust of an artist's abilities is launched into success. The more one reads and develops a love for the creation of the visual language developed in the mind, the better one becomes at being a visual artist. I find that when I'm painting, I yield the best results when I'm listening to a story being read to me. It opens up the channels in my mind that tap into the visual poetry and articulates those responses to and desire for communication. Art and music contribute to the awakening of one's senses and allow for greater streams of introducing higher thinking. Art is the universal language of mankind and reaches across the boundaries of societal and cultural limitations. Without cherishing of art and nurturing of the artist's spirit, the future would be a sad place. By allowing the creative spirit the fertile soil to grow into alive and respectable members of our culture, we paint a brighter hope for tomorrow. The open mind is the mind that is willing to accept the inevitable challenges of the impossible. The open sea is the invitation to launch out and explore the mysterious horizon of untold potential. dependent on the size that your canvas is going to be. What you want to do is to gather up the tools that you need to stretch your canvas. First of all, you're going to need your painting surface. If you want to paint on canvas that's already primed and ready to go, that will save you some steps. So we're going to prepare raw linen. Raw linen is not terribly expensive. All right, so I'm going to show you today how to stretch a raw linen canvas. So the tools that you will need today to stretch a canvas are, you'll need your 4 stretcher bars. You're going to need a T-square or an L-square. So you're going to need a staple gun. You need the appropriate staples for your staple gun. Have a flathead screwdriver handy, or just gently, you can use these. These are stretcher pliers, and they have a toothy grip right inside your primer. Both of these are Gamblin dyes, and you put acrylic. You have to do this step. Either this is an oil primer. You put about 3 coats, and with the outside label facing you, and lining it up like this. I'm going to put 1 staple here along, flip it over and get the other side, this side. But what I do from this point on is I'm going to be using my stretcher pliers. So they're shaped like this with teeth inside there. So I'm going to use this to grab the linen, and then with that bump on the back, I'm going to use that as leverage to pull the staple right in the middle. Now the staple sticks up. Flip it over. Pull. But there's still some ripples along the edges. So what I'm going to do now is, just starting at the middle, I'm going to go staple, 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 staple. You're folding so that you have a triangle here. It's sort of like folding a bed sheet. Okay, did you see that? I took this corner, poked it in, and lined up this fold right along the edge. But now I'm going to take this underside and push that in. Just like that. So I'll show you 3 more times. I'm going to put a staple here and a staple on the back. Okay, to prime this canvas, I'm going to use PVA size. You can give it a little shake. And I'm only going to do 1 coat of this. The difference between a primer and a gesso is the gesso is acrylic based. That is water based, and primer is typically oil-based. Then I'll put the primer on this. Okay, so what I have in this bowl is 6 tablespoons of rabbit skin oil, and I'm taking my bowl then of the bloomed rabbit skin glue crystals and setting it over the top. And it's no longer crystallizing, it is ready to go. I have a 16 by 20 raw linen here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush this on like this, just like I did the PVA size panels as well. All right, so this is the canvas that we stretched yesterday, and I put the PVA sizing on it. And what we're going to do today is put a coat of oil ground on it. Knife in here and scoop out a pile of that. Put it on the middle of my hand by working my way out, pressing that ground into the weave of the canvas. So for now, it's just a matter of preparing the actual surface. I don't plan on painting on the edges. You have to stop what you're doing, wipe down the canvas, put more ground on, and I'm going to gesso it for the painting in this video series, Open Minds, Open Seas. So I put PVA sizing on it, and I am going to apply a coat of gesso. Actually apply several coats, but one at a time, and I'll sand between each coats. So I just dump a bunch on. And again, move it around. Sometimes you get globby things because it dries inside the bottle, and that's okay, you just pick it up. When it comes to art materials, the first area that most people want to talk about are easels. Whether you're working in the studio and you need a large easel, or you're working outdoors and you need a small lightweight easel, I have some examples here and show you a little bit about how they function and how you would use them. Under the box. So that is the Julian Frenchie. It is this larger box called a Gorilla paint box. It comes with sort of a bungee cord mixing area, and it slides open. So this slides on like this, and lay these flat. Inside is the palette, little blocks, longer in case you want to, and thicker in case you want to work on a bigger canvas. It is the Open Box M. It literally weighs 1.25 pounds. Opens up like this, brackets on the back. You turn the wing nuts, and they open this spring action on these little pegs here. On your easels, if you have that. I prefer in my studio to paint on something really solid and substantial. And I like the design of this because it's not too big, it's not too small, 1/4 inch plywood. Now on the back here, I have a second piece. I call this the counterbalance. And this is mathematically designed to balance your palette. If you didn't have paint on it, it would flop down this way. But when you get paint on, it's perfectly balanced like that. I also make sure that these areas where your hand fits inside the thumb hole and around the finger grips is ergonomically designed for long hours in the studio and comfort holding it as well. These are made by an artist for artists, so I understand your needs. Hog's hair brushes are chosen and prized for the strength of the hair shaft as well as their ability to hold a lot of paint. So this one here is shaped like your finger, and that one is a filbert. Okay, you can see that. This one is round. It's round. It's a flat, so named because it is longer and flat. Is a flat, but it's shorter, and so we call it a bright. Or different facial feature ones of these diamond shape. I prefer the diamond shape. First thing you'll want to pay attention to is your lighting in the studio. You definitely want good lighting. If you can get natural north lighting, that's the best. So I keep linseed oil to thin my paint. And I keep little containers like this for my different mediums that I would to clean your brushes, tone your canvas, whatever. Gamsol is really important. Another item by Gamblend. It's called Gal Kid Light. It adds a little bit of varnish shine to the paint, but doesn't have the consistency of honey. So it's a little bit thinner, and it gives sort of a high gloss to your paint. I usually just do a little bit of retouch varnish and not worry about it. It'll protect it. In, squeeze it tight, and turn it like this. You can also use it in the bathroom for your toothpaste. Paper towels are a must. Keep those on. For oil colors, I use a large 150 milliliter tube of titanium white, cadmium yellow medium, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and phthalo green. Now, these are all colors that I use whether I'm plein air painting or in the studio. This is the main set. Occasionally, I have a need for another color that you just can't mix with this palette. Sometimes in nature, you encounter something more with cadmium red light. I like transparent red oxide. Sometimes you need a little magenta, cobalt violet, cobalt blue, and you can even get beautiful colors with ivory black. Mixed with a little yellow, you get green. Welcome to this segment of the video series. In this segment, we're going to do the painting. I have here an 18 by 24 linen canvas. Taped to the side of my easel over here is the picture that I will be working from, as well as my thumbnail sketch, so I can have that for reference, just to refer to my simple design of dark and light and where it's gonna fit on my canvas. On my palette, just to begin with, I have just burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so to begin the drawing of this image, I start out with a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. And I add a little bit of thinner used to draw out the entire image on my canvas. Where is the size and place of the figure going to be? So looking at this, I'm gauging that his head will be about the rails that he's sitting on. And I think that that provides a nice sort of a comforting area here to sort of embrace areas where there's going to be a little bit brighter highlight. So I'm going to take my brush and decide there's one head over and see where that puts us. Okay, so that's where his other foot's going to. All right, so building up these layers a little bit more. You don't have to go out of your way to try to get all the detail at the beginning, because we'll come back through and add those later. At this point, it's important that you squint down and you look at what's underneath the clouds, those faraway layers, as we squint at it, and you can see those. I am leaving some of the white there just to help give me that sense of direction where the clouds are gonna sit and that light's gonna come through there. So you can see I'm starting to get some of that under layer of the sky in place. Now I'm gonna just gently come back through here, very light over here, keeping my brush strokes mostly horizontal. I'm trying not to get the rest of this, just having that under layer work together here. I think I want a little more ultramarine blue and just a touch of alizarin crimson. I want a little bit more violet tones down here. Yeah, I like that. That gives it that stormy feeling when there's that interesting purple tone in the sky. There, that looks like a storm about to happen. I'll bring some of that over there. We want that really dark over there. Let's make a darker violet. I think I'll add just a touch of phthalo green to this blue, ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna mixture. Just a little bit in here. Grab. I'm going to put in a little bit more, some areas of brighter whites. Now this doesn't mean that I'm finished with this portion of the sky if I work on some more of this detail. This darker color for the water down here, I'm seeing a lot more of that as its base. Maybe a little more blue into it. Let's get some yellow and yellow ochre. You can even add a touch of phthalo green too. And you really want to try hard to keep your angles and lines very straight when you're doing things that are parallel. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, if you did, the link is below if you'd like to order the full-length video. You have until April 26th to get the reduced price of the pre-release offer. After that, it goes up to just a little bit more, but it's a wonderful video, and it will be available after the 26th of April, 2019. All right, you guys, have a good weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.